everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, Mr. Bevers. Today we're into box number 4 of Ixalan. It's my 4th box. It may be the 3rd box you're seeing of mine on YouTube. I don't know. I opened up my 2nd or 3rd box was with MTG Value Hunter. We did a box battle, so that should be edited and up on YouTube fairly soon if it's not already. But anyway, I figured I'd film this and get it out of the way because I want to get through the rest of my boxes of this and get it filmed and ready to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get right into it. I hope you're all doing well today. I hope whatever it is you're doing, it's treating you well, or I hope you're relaxing if you're, you know, off of work or, you know, off of school or whatever have you. How are you liking Ixalan so far? I'm curious to hear. I've been drafting a fair amount online because I can't get out to the stores when they do their events. It just doesn't work out for me time-wise. And I've been having a great time. I've been enjoying it. There's so many different formats, or like, I guess... there's so many different playstyles you can have. Bishop of the Rebirth there is our first rare. I really like Bishop of Rebirth in Limited. It works really well. It's like a little mini Sun Titan. It doesn't have a crazy value to it or anything like that, but it's definitely good in Limited. Rootbound Crag as our second rare. Nice little check land or buddy land or whatever you want to call it. I call them check land. I call them buddy lands. Apparently, I've been told that they're actually called check lands. Maybe they're called both, depending on where you are. Rampaging Ferostodon, also a very good card. A 3/3 for 3 is just good as it is. And then it has Menace on top of that, which is awesome. And then it says players can't gain life. And also that it deals 1 damage to everyone when they play a creature. It deals the damage to that player when they play a creature, which is just crazy as well. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Alright. Unclaimed Territory, one of the Chase Uncommons. Herald of Secret Streams. I'm actually going to build a deck with this guy. I'm looking at possibly making like a standard Merfolk deck with Metallic Mimic and Herald of Secret Streams and see how that goes. I don't know. It might be interesting. It might be interesting. It might not. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Snapping Sailback, Raging Swordtooth, Arcane Adaptation, another card that's interesting that can go into your, you know, your tribal decks. You can turn all of your cards into one tribe if you want. All right, Trove of Temptation, Bright Reprisal, Seeker's Squire, and a foil Looming Altasaur. Which means if the foil's first, it means we have a flip card, and our flip card here is an Agrul's Bloodfast. An interesting little, basically just a draw mechanic for black decks. I mean, if you're in a deck that has enough life gain to use this card, then great. I don't think you ever, and I think I've mentioned this before, I don't think you ever want to try and flip it. I don't think that a deck that plays this card cares about flipping it, because flipping it is the thing where it's like you can sack a creature and you gain life equal to its toughness. I don't think a black deck wants to get to that point where you need to sack creatures to gain life. I don't think that's a thing. I think the draw mechanic is just much better. Vanquisher's Banner, also very good for your tribal decks, especially since it's not only is it basically like a pump spell, or like a permanent pump for all of those creatures, but it also is a draw mechanic, which is amazing. Dino Stampede, Sheltering Light, Tempest Caller, Ripjaw Raptor, another solid rare, and we got our foil rare, which is a Dreamcaller Siren. That foil rare is nothing to write home about by any means. Let's get these in the shot here. I apologize for them being a little bit off camera there. Alright, let's see. What do we got here? Favorable Winds, Walk the Plank, Glorifier of Dusk, and a Sunbird's Invocation. I've seen this played in Draft and in Sealed, and it's just a crazy card in Limited. Like, it's essentially it's essentially Cascade in Sealed, which is insane. It's whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. You may cast cards revealed this way. You may cast a card revealed this way as long as its converted mana cost is X or less, which is just crazy. Navigator's Ruin, Heartless Pillage, Lurking Chupacabra, and a Fleet Swallower. I believe I have to add this into a deck list that was given to me by Father Frodo. He gave me a couple deck lists to build and take a look at. Siren's Stormcaller, Heartless Pillage, Call to the Feast, and a Thematic Compass, another flip card. This is the card that turns into Maze of Ish. Not Maze of Ith, Maze of Ish. Because it can remove target attacking creature and opponent controls. Not just anyone. So it has to be an opponent's creature. So you have to go that route. If you don't, too bad. Pillar of Origins, River Sneak, Ranging Raptors, and an Old Growth Dryads. Nothing to write home about there. That card is just not good. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it sees play in any format, to be completely honest. It's a 3/3 for 1. Enters the battlefield. Each opponent may search the library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield. So you're basically giving them a land for your 3/3, which is not good. And it's not good. It's not a good card. I don't like it anyway. Regisaur Alpha. I'm sure that there may be like instances where that card is decent. I don't right now off the top of my head. I can't think of any. Just not. Regisaur Alpha though, on the other hand, very good card for the Dino deck. Very good in limited. Basically enters the battlefield, makes a 3/3 dinosaur that has haste. Can't really complain about that. Oh snap! Our first mythic is Vraska. Very nice. Nice to see another copy of Vraska. I have like 3 or 4 copies of Huatli now. So, you know, it's nice to see one of the other Planeswalkers. And we got a foil Inspiring Cleric there. All right. Man, I'm super stoked that we got a Vraska out of this. Very nice. I like her. She's also seeing some play. Hostage Taker. This card's jumped up in price like nobody's business. Last box I opened, that card was only like $4. It's now like, what? Somewhere in the $10 to $12 range or something like that. It's insane. Just insane. Heartless Pillage, Bellowing Aegisaur, Tempest Caller, and Tilonali's Skin Shifter. Nothing crazy there either. We're trying to keep this box opening way under that 27 minutes of the last one. Perilous Voyage, Thundering Spineback, the very good uncommon. And we got a Dragon Skull Summit. Alright, a nice little check land there to add to the pile of check lands. Some of these packs just open really poorly. Alright. Oh, nose. Hold on a second here. I gotta do that. I don't think you guys heard any of that, but if you did, I apologize. My computer started making noises. I should say, things on my computer started making sounds in my headphones, and I was like, that's not good. Fathom Fleet Captain. Decent for the pirate deck. Very good in limited as well, because he's a 2/1 menace for 2, which is just good. And then if you have another pirate, you can pay 2 and make another menace pirate. Also very good. Lightning Strike, very good in limited as well. Daring Saboteur is an interesting one. I've seen him played in limited a couple times. I've been unimpressed with him every time. And it may just be the way that my opponents are playing him. I don't know. I had one opponent play him on turn 2, and on turn 3 spend all 3 mana to make him unblockable so that I would not block him with my 3/1. And I was like, well, I have 3 damage and you have 2. And yeah, I'm letting you draw, but like, I'm going to hit you for 3 now because you just spent all your mana. Okay. And then I had another guy who just like, I swung in with a 2/1 and he just chump blocked with his Daring Saboteur. And I was like, okay. Conqueror's Galleon. Now, I've seen this do work in Limited, because it flips into something that's sweet in Limited, which is basically a land that lets you either draw a card and discard a card, or just draw a card, or return a card from your graveyard to your hand. Returning a card from your graveyard to your hand, it's a card. Any card. I had someone return a whole bunch of, like, removal from their graveyard to their hand, and then just keep removing every creature I played. And I was like, well, I have no answer to this. Second game, I sideboarded in my land destruction and artifact destruction to blow up the ship so that I wouldn't have to deal with it. And it worked out for me. Priest of the Awakening Sun. It's an interesting card for dinosaur deck. I don't know if I would play it, to be completely honest. I think I've played it in the past only because it was like one of my only cards in my white, green, red dinosaur deck that was like, you know, I played it because I was like, I need something. I need an early drop, and this is in my colors. We also got a foil Fire Cannon Blast there. Woo! We got a Gishath, Sun's Avatar. Nice. I don't think he's, like, super pricey right now, or if he is, I don't know. But I played against this guy in Limited the other day on MTGO, and man, it's not fun. If you don't have any instant speed removal for this guy, when he comes onto the battlefield, forget about it, because he's Trample, Vigilance, Haste, so he swings for 7, and he reveals the top 7 cards, basically, if he hits you, right? So, like, my opponent played it when I was tapped out of creatures. Like, I had swung in, and then he's like, I play this, and I was like, oh, dear. And then he swung me and hit me for 7, and revealed 7 cards and played, like, 4 dinos. And I was like, oh, no. Well, that's the end of that round. So I just scooped at that point. When he played it, I was like, okay, I can answer that. And then he hit me for 7 and got 4 more dinos, and I was like, I can't deal with that right now. Fiery Cannonade. River's Rebuke. A little bounce spell for 6 that bounces all non-land permanents to their owner's hand. So it bounces even your treasure tokens and your, you know, your artifacts, all of the things. Bounces them all. Oh no, that's not the mythic we want to see, but we got an Axis of Morality, which looks kind of faded, actually. The border looks kind of faded. See, it's kind of washed out. It's weird. I don't know if you can see that in this light or not, but even the black border on it is washed out. It's kind of interesting. Deeproot Waters, Wanted Scoundrels, Raging Swordtooth, and a Legion's Landing. Nice little white card for your white aggro decks. Lets you get a 1/1 for 1 mana on turn 1, and then as soon as you attack with 3 or more, it flips into a land that makes 1/1 lifelinkers. Ixalan's Binding, one of the best removal spells out there right now. Treasure Map, interesting. It's like a pay 1, tap it, scry, put a landmark counter on it, and then if there's 3 or more, you remove them, make 3 treasure tokens, and flip this. And it flips into a land that taps to add a mana, or taps and sacrifices a treasure to draw a card, which is kind of cool. So if you have a heavy treasure deck, the treasure map is very good, because you can basically just make a whole bunch of treasure and then use it to draw cards, which is pretty nice. And I mean, the other ability of scrying is pretty decent as well. Lightning Strike. Spell Swindle. An interesting card. I've only had it played against me once in Limited, and I think they countered like a 3-cost card or something like that, and I was like, okay, you get 3 treasures, like, whatever. And then they didn't do anything with the treasures, and I was like, okay. Whatever you say, I guess. Oh, Vraska's Contempt. Very good removal spell. Double black, 2, exile target creature or planeswalker, you gain 2 life. And we got a foil Shorekeeper. Alright. How many packs we got left? We gotta plow through this. Let's keep going. Let's keep motoring. Steadfast Amorsor, very good. Another Siren Storm Tamer, very good. And we got a Sanguine Sacrament. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving along. Verdant Rebirth, Rallying Roar, Shapers of Nature, very good for the Merfolk deck. Tocatli Honor Guard. Tocatli Honor Guard. Or Tocatli Honor Guard? I don't remember how you pronounce it. Whatever. English is not a good language at all. Okay, we got another mythic here. That's 4 mythics. That's pretty high for these boxes from what I understand. Direfleet Ravager is a 4/4 Death Touch Menace for 5. And when it enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of their life rounded up. I had that played against me in Limited, and I was like, that's not a fun card to deal with, but at least it's only a 4/4, I guess. And he played it when I had like 10 health and he had 20, so he lost way more health than I did, so I was like, that's fine with me. Revel in Riches. There it is. The good old card that everyone tries to get you with. I haven't seen anyone play with it at all in any format. Other than the pre-release, I saw one of the Loading Ready Run guys play with it. Or try to win with it. Deadeye Tracker. Very good card for the Explore decks. Very good card just in general, since he's a 1/1 for 1, and then he can pay 2 to explore. A foil Aztokan or Atzoken Archer. Atzoken Archer. The Z is after the T, or the Z is after the T. However you want to pronounce it. Savage Stomp, Sword Point Diplomacy. That's my Canadian blood showing there. The Z instead of the Z. A in a boot, and what have you. Field of Ruin, Raptor Hatchling, Adonto Vanguard, and Emperor's Vanguard. 2 Vanguards in a row, and we do have a foil here. A Skittering Heartstopper. Last pack. Oof. Alright, let's get in here. Boom. Alright, Stormfleet, Slice in Twain, Shapers of Nature, and a 5th mythic. We hit a 5th mythic. It's not a crazy mythic, it's Overflowing Insight, but it's still a 5th mythic. That was not a bad box. We definitely didn't hit any of the like super high-end rares, as far as I know. Ripjaw Raptor's probably the highest cost one that I can think of out of here. And I don't think we hit like we didn't hit the high-end mythics, but we did hit Vraska, which is pretty sweet, and we did hit Gishith, or Gishath, which I didn't have, and I didn't have the Direfleet Ravager yet, so that's good to add to my collection, so I'm super happy to pick those up. We hit only 2 Siren Storm Tamers and only 1 unclaimed territory, so like our uncommons were a little lacking, but hey, we also hit like, what, 7 foils? That's pretty decent. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been your host, Mr. Bevers. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And as always, may your pulls ever be better.